Hey guys, with this one right here, coming into this whole thing right here, we done got something right here with NR, TZG, Walla, Lucii, yeah. And you got the high knees, but you got with Lucii, TZG, Walla, and R, especially with the NR. And you got TZG Walla and you got Lucii and yeah. So you got the main ones coming into it, like especially with them and them having their whole thing, they gonna bring this. They gonna bring something high kneesy, but especially with this one coming in right here and the NR and everything else, and just with the Lucii and the Yaw and the TZG Walla and the just this whole conviction, but Lucii, TZ Walla, all mainly all the current presents.
No, no, most. I speak four, five languages.
You are now locked in to Pac-Man TV.
The objective of this exercise is to get your knees up as high in the air as you can. So start out by jumping bring your right knee up, and then your left knee, and then alternate back and forth.
Lucii mixes, baby.
Try come try me, bet man run off and do high knees. Ching chong Chinese, met man run off and do high knees. He got caught on the Bay High Street, got banged, then run off and did high knees. Try come try me, bet man run off and do high knees. Ching chong Chinese, met man run off and do high knees.
We said ching chong. He said ching chong, high knees, and the whole thing. I bet you he'll run is as it comes to the high knee. Ooh, like hey, this one right here, it just you got the whole thing like he said ching, hey, and you got the whole mixture of a thing like, especially with these coming into right here, like especially where the whole thing is combusted too. The areas too. The areas be off another commodes too, cause the way these things be floating and everything else, but just how it's coming in, how it's already pursuing, it just hey, he said ching chong with the little bit of itchy of a cone cheese.
He got caught on the Bay High Street, got banged, then run off and did high knees. G-check man, he denied his gang in Catford, run off and did high knees. Don't want eye pre, come look with chest and get done like he. Reach that up or the gun might freeze, then slap that off, he get bun like trees. Best unload on the way if the match is bookie, fuck it, that one match sneeze. Lock and light with aimbot, make sure he can't run off and do high knees. Try come try me, bet man run off and do high knees.
We said with the high knees bed, they'll run and do the high knee. Like shoot, hey, the whole thing, like, hey, especially with the escalator too, especially with the whole thing, but especially with everything else, movement in and everything else, the movement and everything else, you got your whole quizzes, especially on, all kinds of, fixtures.
Try me, bet man run off and do high knees. Ching chong Chinese, met man run off and do high knees. He got caught on the Bay High Street, got banged, then run off and did high knees. G-check man, he denied his gang in Catford, run off and did high knees. Don't want eye pre, come look with chest and get done like he. Reach that up or the gun might freeze, then slap that off, he get bun like trees. Best unload on the way if the match is bookie, fuck it, that one match sneeze. Lock and light with aimbot, make sure he can't run off and do high knees.
Them man cut when they see me coming. Them man run off and do high knees. Four man glide, step out on the slide. Run over a man if he do high knees. Whipping it, whipping the wall. If a more man down, run over a man if he do high knees. Whipping it, whipping the wall. If a more man down, wanna run out of teeth. Fly up the country and burn out.
Fly out the country or flow out the or float up out the country. Hey, the whole thing, how everything else is state and everything else, like he said, run men over and do the high knees, like, hey, just the whole thing, like, how these guys be consulting. These guys got a crazy, and lifts, like the way they lifts they self crazy. It's like it's everywhere you can expulsion, the whole thing.
I whip, I don't wanna get caught by CID. Step in the function, all black suit with a crowd all thinking I'm MIB. I got more than a Rami on me, that's 9 mil teeth when the heat gets squeezed. Step in the park at 3 in the morning, step out at 4 with blood on the leaves. Splashed him down, I felt his bones, then put my Rambo back in the sheath.
I'm on a back row with 2 Rambos, clocked me up and he left his bro. So I just called up bro and he circled round with the freshest pole. They tried dust but the exit's closed by 4x4 that's filled with smoke. He's so quick as a fucking joke and me looking at bro like where did it go? Stepped in the mall, all black top from my head to my toe. Trench coat on but the things on show, car I got unzip like Rolling Stones. Try act up you get shot or poke with raging bulls is a rodeo. Chef man down till his white Jordans turn raging bulls, if you know then you know.
Try you, try me, can't do that. Done made enough man run with their blue flags. Cut
Turn raging bulls, if you know then you know.
Try you, try me, can't do that. Done made enough man run with their blue flags. Cut you bait on that L like who's that? Tiz said bill up at L, let me choose that. He got caught with his girl, that's too bad. Big SK in a JD shoe bag. Better Cali on me, I'm too fast. Where's Lilo? He got sent to the gulag. Are you with it?
Oh, come on, like, hey, the whole thing, like, you know, you put in a whole sense into it, like, hey, they letting you know, like, what's really going on. They said play with him, then that's, you know, that's even a no. Like, you can't play with nobody's name really, because you know it's a fact. You know what goes around, what happened. You know, is the whole thing, especially when the whole thing comes around. Like these guys have so much and voice into it. Like it's just so much of a investee to it. Like I look at it as, you know, these guys is, you know, they really, you know, screeched up. Like they got the whole game on Trizit lock. Like they got those slills. Like they got those slills, those frills, but especially the whole thing where it's just come skletted out too. Especially with everything else going on. Like you see what's really going on. Like these guys is really, you know, in place for, like they're in the playground. They in the playground with it. So like they doing that whole thing, especially with everything else, you know, coming into the whole little of a stork.
Are you not? Shot EK man's Cali on me, I'm too fast. Where's Lilo? He got sent to the gulag. Are you with it? Are you not? Shot EK man's really on hots. Is he tripping? Did he drop? Nasty Blake, gone put him in pots. 5 man at their local shot, so he might line man through a local fort. All the ops get vocal lots, but I can't see them and I'm local lots.
Try come try me, bet man run off and do high knees. Cheng Chong Chinese, met man run off and do high knees. He got caught on the Bay High Street, got banged, then run off and did high knees. G-check man, he denied his gang in Catford, run off and did high knees. Don't want eye pre, come look with chest and get done like he. Grease that up or the gun might freeze, then slap that off, he get bun like trees. Best unload on the way if the match is booky, fuck it, I one match sneeze. Lock and light with aimbot, make sure he can't run off and do high knees. Chef man down till his white Jordans turn red and bulls, if you know that you know. Chef man down till his white Jordans turn red and bulls, if you know that you know.
Lucii mixes, baby.
Hey, coming into this one though, right here, and everything goes, you know, with the Tzgwala and Lucii and yeah, crazy type of thing coming into a crazy extortion, especially the explorer, like the explorer of them, like hey, this one right here was something screechy right here, you know, especially with their type of explore and their thing. But you got the high knees with the Ya and Lucii and Tzgwala, the whole thing. But you got with this whole thing, you know, NR and their whole thing, especially with this coming around to it. But shout out to Pac-Man TV for the whole thing, you know, for them just even putting their whole thing into it. But you got the high knees, especially with everything else, and NR, Lucii, and these main guys, you know, these guys make, you know, it draws it history, you know, especially how these guys just coming. But as you guys got this far into it and everything else, make sure you guys definitely tune into this right here. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. And, you know, just with this one coming into the whole, you know, the whole thing.